The message that I have for this reading is that some thefts don't leave a broken window or a missing object, just a quiet absence of momentum. They didn't steal what's yours outright. They stalled you, distracted you, gave you just enough chaos, noise, or obligation to keep you from showing up where you were meant to be. And while you were busy navigating detours, they arrived. Not because they were chosen, but because you were late. That's what destiny theft really is. Not voodoo, not spells, just strategic erasure until now. What do we have at the foundation of the reading, please? Wow. Magician. Okay. Gemini, Virgo energy at the foundation of the reading, Pisces. The energy that I have been getting surrounding you leading up to this reading is that you're either moving towards something here or you're already in this energy. And I feel that this is something that is a long time coming. It's something you have been putting off subconsciously without even being fully engaged in the delay. Now, what I mean by this is I feel that life has gotten in the way. Like we mentioned in the opening message, there have been distractions. There have been things that have caused you not to show up in this space that you were always meant to be in. But as we know, divine timing is a real thing. So even though there may have been delays, it was all for a greater purpose. There was wisdom you needed to gain. There's something that you needed to learn. But now, the energy that you're stepping into is going to see you putting all of these tools that you have collected over the years into use. Now, the Magician is an energy of having all of the elements, so it reinforces what I said about having all the tools. I feel that a lot of you are in this energy where you feel as though you're catching up for lost time, but I feel that that is one of the messages here that you need to know, Pisces, that you're not catching up to anyone, to anything, yourself, to lost time. You're exactly where you're supposed to be in this very moment. And as time goes on, you will begin to see this. Now, there's also a message surrounding the Pisces collective right now where the divine really wants you just to ease in and flow with this energy. Get out of the mindset of feeling like you are behind in any way, shape, or form. The divine wants you to use all of the lessons that you have learned up until this very moment to begin piecing together your new reality. This is going to help you to find a sense of peace, closure rather, in regards to what it is you had to overcome to get to this very moment that you're in. Simply put, this is when you take all of the struggles of your past, whatever that may look like for you, and you transmute it into the present moment by creating steps and building opportunities that lead you into this timeline that has been waiting for you this entire time. It hasn't gone anywhere. Nothing was taken from you. Sure, it may have been kept from you by way of circumstance, but it doesn't matter anymore. All of that is behind you, or it's preparing to be behind you. And for those of you who haven't stepped into this new timeline yet, into this new energy, just know that the messages we're channeling through for you here are what it is going to look like and or feel like once you take this leap of faith and you finally follow this inner calling and step into this energy of, well, I feel like it's a great awakening for you, Pisces. There's something quite monumental here for you. What I'm picking up on, if I was to really draw one takeaway from everything we have channeled through so far, is that all of this looks and feels a lot like a vision that you have been holding for your life for many, many years. What do we have at the sacral, please? Wow. I was just thinking about the Five of Wands. And, you know, it's interesting because this Five of Wands perfectly embodies everything we just spoke about. The Five of Wands upright is an energy of obstacles, right? These are the distractions. This is the chaos. This is the noise. This is the obligation. Everything that has kept you from this. But it's in reverse. It's no longer in your way. And it's coming out right there at that sacral position, which is all connected to your passion, your creativity. Five of Wands, the Leo energy in reverse, is an energy that is telling us that your path is clear. There's nothing standing in your way anymore. Oh, I just heard that you may still be dealing with some sort of psychological barriers that the divine is trying to help you overcome right now. So this can be an energy of fear. Of course, we all deal with things like this. It's very normal. And really what it is just residual. It's just the leftovers of a timeline that you have since graduated on from. So this can show up as the, well, what if this happens? And what if that doesn't work out? So it's all of the things you tell yourself before you actually give yourself the opportunity to see how it's going to turn out. Now, I feel this new timeline and this new universe that you're really manifesting for yourself, or this new reality, is encouraging you to be in an energy of complete and utter faith, knowing that everything that comes your way, whether it's a high or whether it's a low, is for the ultimate manifestation of said vision that we have been picking up on. You know, there is this idea out there in the collective that when we start to align with our true north, your destiny even, that your path is going to be perfectly smooth. And this is certainly not the case at all. In fact, you may actually face quite a lot of obstacles at first because you have to unlearn a lot of the things that you learned on the previous cycle where you were seemingly stuck and stagnated by all of these different circumstances. So just know that any obstacle that may present itself on your path isn't a sign that you are going in the wrong direction by any means. It's just a sign that you are releasing, that you are transmuting, that you're expelling any sort of residual energies and creating space for all of the newness that is being flooded into your life right now. What do we have at the solar plexus? Devil. Wow. Now, the Magician and the Five of Wands is also telling us that you are taking all of these struggles and you're using it to fuel you in this new beginning. It's almost as if the struggles of your past are the driving force behind all of this. There's a kind of motivation here. There's also a very strong sense of purpose. Now, what I mean by this is you may be in this energy now, or you're preparing to step into this energy where you're beginning to compartmentalize the struggle in your life as being a necessary component to get you to the space that you're in now. You very much understand that without said event, said trauma, said delay, you wouldn't be able to arrive in the space that you are showing up to now. You understand that everything had to happen the way it did. The good, the bad, the highs, the lows. It was all a part of your becoming the person that you were always meant to be. You know, sometimes this can be a hard thing to come to terms with, but I can tell you that when you're able to find peace, when you're able to find a sense of purpose amongst those greatest struggles that you have faced in your life, this is when you can truly say you've arrived. This is when the divine looks down upon you and applauds because you truly get it. You look at things from this much higher perspective. It's far beyond this third density that we all exist in. It's like getting a glimpse at your life through the eyes of the universe. In that moment, as you look down over your life, you kind of go, oh, I think I get it now, right? You know, we're so caught up in the everyday grind that it's very difficult to gain perspective and look at the greater meaning behind our lives. You know, in my opinion, we're all kinds of soldiers working for the divine. We all have these paths that the divine would like us to take as a means to complete our missions. Now, we're placed into a kind of maze down here, so we're never going to walk a straight line to completing that mission. We're going to take several detours. We're going to mess up a whole lot. We're going to find ourselves in spaces where it almost feels like all hope is lost. But all things considered, the divine has also accounted for this. And what I mean by that is the divine realizes that there's many alternate paths that we might take, but as long as we're extracting wisdom and experience and applying it into our path once we arrive back at that aligned position, we'll be better off for it. See, life is all about experience. It's all about the wisdom we gain for the greater collective. Also, a huge part of our purpose is healing ourselves, which is interesting because we're healing ourselves from the things that we have endured since being here. So it's like from the moment of inception, we're being impacted by trauma merely by existing. The third density is seemingly attacking us from the moment we open our eyes in some capacity. And usually it starts as some sort of psychological invasion into telling us who we are, what we're meant to be, all of these different things, by an environment that doesn't know any better. They're none the wiser. So there's no one really even to blame here. And even if you were in environments where these things were deliberately done to you, starting to look at those people and those situations as just limited in their thinking and not being able to see things from a greater perspective can help to overcome and release any sort of resentment and bitterness that may exist in and around those situations. Now, the Devil card, Capricorn energy at the solar plexus, follows everything I just said perfectly, because this is an energy that we are all familiar with. This represents the third density. It represents the energy that wants to put us in shackles, that wants to stop us by any means necessary from completing our mission. Pisces, there's something quite big here that I'm picking up for all of you. This isn't just about fulfilling a dream or finally reaching a point in your life where you feel happy with where you've arrived. Sure, it may look that way, but there's something far deeper going on here. See, destiny theft is interesting because, like we picked up in the opening message, it has shown up in your life as distractions by people that may have not even really understood fully what they were doing. In fact, I would go as far as saying as none of them knew what was going on here. Because these sorts of individuals, they're used by a darker force, let's say. They become vessels for the will of the underworld, so to speak, without their knowledge that this is even really taking place. Sure, these individuals have to be a willing participant in some capacity, and they offer themselves up by the way they live their life, which leads us into vibration. You know, when you have a very low vibration, you become a vessel for demonic entities. We all know this. We've all experienced this. There's something that sort of takes people over, right? You may have found yourself surrounded by people, Pisces, throughout your life that have had a lot of vices, people that just seemed like there was something a bit off about them. I feel that you were placed inside the devil's matrix from the moment of inception to keep you from this greater mission, this greater purpose that, again, you may not even be fully aware of. See, the way this shows up inside your everyday waking life is you just feeling like you're missing out on something that you should be doing. A lot of the times, it doesn't come to us in the capacity that I'm trying to deliver it to all of you here, because it's just too much. But I feel that you have gotten to a point now, Pisces, where it's time that you understood the greater meaning behind what it is that's taking place here. But if we were to extract one real simple message from everything we've said so far, it's that you are being placed on a timeline where you were always meant to be. A timeline where some sort of dark force, well, the devil, so to speak, never wanted you to arrive, because if you did arrive there, it would see you realigning with your mission. And because of this, there's a vibrational consequence that this devil energy will now have to face for not being able to hold you back. What do we have at the heart, please? Eight of Wands, Sag energy at the heart. Now, the Eight of Wands energy here is showing us this salamander that isn't fully formed yet. It's like it's being birthed with every move you're making. The wands represent very quick movement. They represent change. And the Eight of Wands is connected to Sag, which is the 9th house. Now, I associate Sag with movement, travel, expansion, exploring, which I feel is very much connected to this energy that I'm picking up for you here, Pisces. It's as if you have either gone out on an adventure or you're being called to go out on an adventure, depending on where you are on the timeline, and your rebirth is all connected to this. Now, you have to be patient with yourself as well here, Pisces, okay? Because I do feel an energy of reluctance here. It's almost an energy of just needing to be patient with these changes that are coming into your life, which is very interesting for me to channel through, because the Eight of Wands isn't really a patient energy. It's an energy that's moving very quickly. But I feel that the greater message there is all of this has already begun to play out as above, and now it's going to prepare, making its way down into your life in the so below. In other words, it's already happening, Pisces. But because we live in this third density, this material world, things have to make sense with the relative motion of how things move in our reality. So what does that mean? Well, that means that right now, the divine, I just heard, is in talks, so to speak. So this is just a way that will help you to compartmentalize what I'm saying here, to bring this into your everyday waking life. Now, this is going to show up in the form of opportunities, making sure that you are getting out there in the world, whatever that means for you, allowing yourself to be present for these opportunities to come into your life. It's like the divine saying to you, okay, Pisces, we're going to start giving you pieces of this vision, this new timeline, this new life, so to speak. But we've got to give it to you in small portions, okay? So we need you to go here. We just need you to put yourself out there. This is going to align you with an opportunity, and it's going to open up this door for you here. Okay, do that, and then you're going to be led over here, and another door is going to open up over here, okay? This is how this works. This is how you manifest with the divine. It takes inspired action on your part, always. So if you are in this energy right now, Pisces, where you're sitting there waiting for things to just come to be, you got to get up. You got to get moving. Even if you don't know exactly how things are going to look, even if you don't have a perfectly laid out plan, just get out there and mix with energies, whatever that means for you, given your current set of circumstances and what may be going on in and around your life right now, which really highlights this entire illustration. It's like the more you move, the more the salamander comes to be. See, it's still forming. Movement allows you to fully form. What do we have at the throat, please, Spirit? 8 of Pentacles, Virgo energy at the throat. 8-8. Okay, so we're starting to see the storyline come out here in the cards. It's like you've gotten past this barrier, this restriction, whatever that represents for you, which is the devil energy. Now you're moving very quickly into this new beginning. Even if it seems as though everything's at a complete standstill, we have concluded that as above, the divine, things are moving very quickly, right? Now, the 8 of Pentacles here is following this message I just delivered about getting back out there, okay, whatever that looks like for you. Pushing forward, progressing forward, not waiting on the divine to come and knock on your door. You have to remember, even though this devil energy is behind you, it is still going to be existing inside of you on a psychological level. It's subconscious. It's the subconscious restrictions that you may still be creating in your own mind, like we determined, right? It's going back to what we said earlier on. It's residual. It's just something that's still lingering there. It's that doubt. You need to push through this now more than ever, because what I'm picking up here, Pisces, is you're actually on the new timeline, okay? You've arrived. It's like the first day, so to speak. But instead of waiting for somebody to teach you the ropes, you got to get out there and teach yourself, because you are the center of your own universe. You're the one that's manifesting this whole new world for yourself to begin with. So how can anybody possibly know what that's going to look like, divine or otherwise? You're the one who actually has the divine doing what they do as above, because you made the decisions to make this happen in the first place. You're the one in charge. This is how it always is. Manifestation 101. You tell the universe how you want your life to look, and the universe responds. But not before you have implemented a very strong sense of faith in knowing that the universe will respond once you have proven your worth in being able to be responsible enough to hold the keys to this new beginning. And what does that mean? Well, it just means that even though we may say we want something, it takes inspired action before the universe fully responds. You may say, all right, universe, this is what I'm going to do. And the universe says, great, we got your back. Let's make it happen. And then you get out there and you start making it happen. And then after a while, the universe starts showing up because you have proven yourself worthy inside of that space. However, just to be clear here, the universe starts manifesting with you from the first step you take. It just doesn't show up immediately because, like I mentioned, as above, so below. It takes time. Now, when the universe finally starts showing up, what I am suggesting here to all of you starts to make a whole lot more sense. It almost feels like the universe catches up to you and they have all these things prepared for you. And it's in this moment you kind of stop and say, wow, universe, you've been working on this for a long time, huh? The universe is like, well, yeah. First step you took, we started working on it with you. We just couldn't give it all to you immediately because that's just not how it works. There's a greater mechanics to how this goes down. It just takes time, which requires you to have faith because most of the time, let's be real here, a lot of people give up when they don't see the universe respond right away. You know, Pisces, all too often I see people trying to get ahead of their manifestations, right? An energy of, okay, so you're telling me if I do this, I'll be able to get this, right? Look, I get it. But this is a really poor way to manifest because it suggests that you would only do something if you were able to attain said thing, which brings us back to having a weak sense of faith because faith tells us that we should do our best to trust in every moment, in every breath, that we are working towards our highest potential despite how that may look in our environment. And this is a very interesting concept because the reality we live in right now is so tactile. People have to have some sort of proof of what they're doing, physically speaking. I'm only going to do this if I can attain that. And almost 100% of the time, that, so to speak, is physical. It's material. It's useless when it comes down to spiritual matters. Now, the Eight of Pentacles here is interesting because pentacles represent the material world. It's also speaking about you building something here in divine timing along with the divine. But having said that, I feel that what you're building here, Pisces, is guided. So again, have faith. Do what you're being guided to do without question. Overcome the voice that tells you none of it matters. Overcome the residual echoes of this previous timeline that are trying to come up from the depths and pull you back down. What do we have at the third eye, please? Wow. Hermit. Virgo energy at the third eye. Perfect. So as we can see here, for the most part, all of these cards are pretty much following the messages that I'm delivering before they even come out. We just have a way of gliding into the next energy with ease here because I feel that we're onto something. And as I'm sure you have noticed, there's quite a depth to this reading here. There's a lot of channeling going on here. And having said that, this is the kind of reading where these messages require further insight and decoding from you. I don't need to make perfect sense out of the things I'm saying in this reading because what you take from it may just be between you and spirit. And this Hermit card at the third eye is suggesting just that. Seeking understanding. Allowing your inner guidance to show you the way, which no one is better at that than you, Pisces, because that third eye position is actually the home position for the High Priestess, which is the card of intuition and represents you. I just heard distraction is the most sophisticated form of spiritual warfare. Whew. Wow. That really says it all, right? Because it tells us that at the end of the day, the only one that can stop anything from truly making its way to you in this life cycle is you, right? The devil will use every trick in the book to distract you so you self-sabotage. You know, depending on what your path has been like, spell work, witchcraft, all of these things are just little annoyances, things that try to get you so agitated and frustrated that you just throw your hands up in the air and you want to give up. But at the end of the day, you're the one who decided to give up. And let me tell you that when being faced with these sorts of distractions, this is a very clear indication that you're being distracted from something that holds some level of importance. Otherwise, why all the focus on you? And a lot of the times we put all of these sorts of things down to a kind of curse, right? But it's not. It's a distraction that became a way of life, okay? Now, you're still working through all of this, Pisces, okay? I feel it in your energy. So you need to be patient with yourself. But the most important part about this is knowing that these distractions are going to keep unearthing themselves when you are preparing to have breakthroughs, even on this new cycle. But at this point, it's psychological. I feel that there's nothing in your immediate environment that is of a threat to you. The only threat that exists in your life right now is you. That's it. That little devil on your shoulder that says, hey, remember me? Remember that little insecurity that you used to have? Yeah, why don't we pull that up? I've got it filed down here in one of the hallways of your mind. I can go get the paperwork right now. Let's get some more energy. Pisces, I'm starting to feel Ten of Swords. I'm starting to feel a bit of, there's something distracting going on here between the throat and the third eye. It's like as I was channeling here, I started to feel something intercepting downloads. And this makes perfect sense because your superpower is your intuition, okay? So when you are under any sort of attacks, whether it's your own psychological barriers that you create, whether it's outside forces, entities, this devil energy, whatever it is, they're almost always going to come for your intuition, getting you to doubt yourself, getting you to second guess yourself. They want you to question your own guidance, which is what creates a third eye blockage. When you're not trusting your intuition, when you're not listening to that inner voice, when you're allowing fear to creep back up into the driver's seat of your life. You know, that devil energy, it's always going to find a way back into your life. So you need to remember that when it has exhausted all of the tricks, all of the distractions that once worked on you, it will look for another way. You have to make sure that you are communing with Source. Meditation should absolutely be a part of your routine, Pisces. Really no excuse for you, because this is really how you strengthen your own superpower, which is your intuition. So, of course, meditation. Now, the Ten of Swords, Gemini energy at the crown, is speaking about an ending and a beginning. And I feel that from a psychological perspective, Gemini being of the mind, it's speaking about that part of you that we are not going to allow to sit in the captain's chair of your life anymore. See, this energy wants the shadow aspects of you to be in the driver's seat of your life. And that's not how we're doing this anymore. You need to embrace your shadow always, but you cannot allow the fear that your shadow holds to dictate how your path is going to look moving forward. And I feel that you're being tested right now, Pisces, because of what we mentioned earlier on. Things might not be looking the way that you had expected they'd be looking right now. But as we know, God's timing looks a whole lot different than ours. But it all makes sense in due time. What do we have at the foundation of the reading? Okay, Pisces, I just heard port of entry. Port of entry. Could be metaphorical. It could be literal. Queen of Cups. It could speak about your ships coming in, the port of entry. Whenever I look at this card, to me it looks like a dock. Maybe this old version of you is being taken away and this new version of you is arriving, something like this. I'm also hearing that some of you might see that somewhere. You may be going through an actual port of entry. But either way, let's keep moving forward. This Queen of Cups, water energy at the foundation of the reading, is this subconscious fear coming up from the depths. This is that energy that wants you to lack the confidence and emotional security to make all of this happen. See, Pisces, this is a multi-layered campaign that you are under right now. A multi-layered campaign that sees you engaged in some sort of psychological warfare with the restrictions of your own mind. It's like, here you are with the vision, fully engaged inside of this new timeline, right where you have always seen yourself. You're right there. And then right underneath it, there's this psychological barrier, right? I don't know if I can do that, right? All of this stuff. This is what's underneath the surface. And really, Pisces, the only effective way to overcome this is to go through it. That's it. Steamroll it over. Feeling scared, feeling insecure, feeling fearful, good. Now get up and charge towards it, right? This is really the only way to go about this. Because I feel that the place that you have arrived to is really asking you to push forward in power. You've graduated on from the timeline where there was this reluctancy. I don't know, You've already overcome all that. You're on the new timeline now. There's no space or time for that anymore. And what I'm getting inside of the energy, there's nothing in your way anyway. It's that residual energy, right? What do we have at the sacral, please? Wow. Baphomet, look at that. We have the devil and Baphomet. And Baphomet represents the magician in its shadow. So we have the magician twice. And it's right underneath the Five of Wands. So this energy is trying to repeat on you, right? We concluded that you have overcome these distractions right here, but it's still existing in the subconscious layer. Magician in its shadow wants to scatter your energy. It wants you to feel that you're wasting your time, you're wasting your resources, you don't have the talents or the skills to do something. It wants you to focus on details that don't even matter. Oh, I'm not fully prepared for this, I haven't planned for this, all of this stuff, okay? Where you're in a timeline now where we've already concluded you must have faith. You're already prepared for this. Pisces, I'm getting this vision in my mind's eye where you're standing on one side of this giant battlefield, just looking down at the sea of people engaged in a kind of battle. And you need to get to the other side, okay? And the divine is saying, all right, Pisces, just run through. We're going to clear a path for you once you start making your way through that field right there. And then I heard kamikaze, right? It's just like, oh, well, let's go, right? This is the kind of energy that I'm getting here. Having the faith that once you, I get it. Oh, I get it now. The battlefield is the fear. It's metaphorical, obviously not literal, but that's just how it feels, right? That's the weight that it holds. Spiritually speaking, it's a battlefield, but in your everyday waking life, it's showing up as the restriction that you impose upon yourself that has been birthed from the distractions, the chaos, the traumas of your past, however that shows up for you. The fact we're getting the magician in its shadow when we open the reading with the magician upright just puts more weight behind this magician energy for you, that this is the energy you're supposed to be in. Because look, they're using the polar opposite energy to come for you. They're coming for you with magician in its shadow. Here you are showing up. I have everything I need to make this happen. And then your subconscious fear is saying, I don't know. I don't know if I have everything I need. Maybe I made a mistake. And even though this is the magician, these are the same character, right? That is Baphomet. We're just seeing the front of Baphomet. See, he's got his arm up, right? Arm down, arm down. Wow. I just got a very profound message there. So, see how we can't see the devil right here? We can only see his back. It's because he is hiding behind life, integrating himself into all these different facets of your existence. But right here, which these cards really represent the subconscious, what's going on underneath the surface, the restrictions that we face, whether it's mental or whether it's external to us. But now see how we see the devil in his full form from the front. He's hiding in the subconscious mind through your own fears. He's integrated himself into your programming by the way you have lived your life up until this very moment. We all know that one. There's not a single person on this planet right now that hasn't dealt with this and It's probably still dealing with it. It's just a part of being human inside this density. The devil's everywhere. He hides in plain sight. But for you, Pisces, all that's left are the residual remains of a life that once was, that you have since moved on from. So don't forget that. And when you feel this devil energy trying to repeat on you, pick yourself up, charge forward, catch it, embrace it, don't hide from it, analyze it, sit with it, think about it. What triggers it, right? What triggers it? That's really, you can do a lot with that. You know, when fear resurfaces from the subconscious mind, people have a tendency to try and push it out of their mind. Okay, I must do something to forget about that. Must distract myself. And sure, maybe that is effective with some things, you know, maybe addictions or something that could probably be effective. But what you're dealing with here, Pisces, because it's psychological, it tells us that something triggers it. Could be a multitude of things, but what I'm asking you to do here is to just stop in that moment that you feel this energy unearth itself and just meditate on it. Okay, why? Why right now am I getting this feeling? What is it around me? What did I do today to lead me up to this point that allowed the devil energy, right, psychologically speaking, to find a crack back into my life? Now, if you can do this and be patient with yourself at the same time, you'll begin to uncover some things. It's very interesting when you start to analyze these sorts of things because you'd be surprised at what triggers it. Could even be a behavioral pattern that you have, a guilty pleasure. There's just so many different things this can be. But Spirit is really asking you right now to just pay attention. Don't hide or run from the fear. Face it head on like you never have before and embrace it. Give it a hug. Sit down with it, because all it really is at the end of the day, even though I'm calling it the devil, it's just shadow aspects of yourself, okay? And the reason why I put that under the umbrella of the devil is because it's just something that is holding you back from your greatness, okay? And, you know, there's many different polarities underneath the umbrella of the devil. Some are far less extreme than others. Some of them can seemingly be very minuscule, but they just have a way of planting some sort of seed inside of us that begins to grow. So rather than me saying that your shadow is the devil, moving forward through the rest of the reading, it may be a little bit easier to compartmentalize by just saying that that shadow aspect of you is in direct opposition with where your higher self is trying to lead you to right now. It's like saying, hey, shadow, get in the back seat. You're not driving anymore. You've had your time. Get in the back. Stop trying to crawl up into the front seat. Stay back there in the baby seat where you belong. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Hangman, Bifrons, Pisces, that is your energy at the solar plexus. Now, the hangman right underneath this devil here is further emphasizing this energy here that wants you to be second-guessing yourself. The hangman from this deck is representing the delays and the indecision that you have already overcome. But see how you've overcome it in your physical reality, right? In your everyday waking life. But it's still sort of lingering here. You know, this can also really speak about the need to do further healing, right? You know, we're never done healing. That's just a lifelong journey that we all go down. But what I feel you're being guided to do here, Pisces, is recognize that this is an energy that is probably always going to be lingering around, okay? But if you can understand it, compartmentalize it, and make sure it stays in its allocated little position inside of your mind, then you'll be able to deal with this energy when it tries to resurface. The simplest way I can put that is when you hear that little devil on your shoulder pop up and say, hey, Pisces, this is for the birds. Let's get out of here. Come on. Let's go back. Let's not do all this. This isn't for you, you know? Let's just go back to where it's comfortable, where we weren't doing anything. In those moments, Pisces, you basically just need to tell that little devil to shut his trap and get to the back seat where he belongs, okay? And Pisces, I'm having this vision in my mind's eye right now. It's like the closer you get to something, the more that little guy appears, right? It's like the actual devil, let's say, is in the underworld. He's sitting at his desk, and he's got this little switch, and he's watching you on a monitor. And every time you're getting close to something, he flips the switch on, and that switch is the call button for that little devil on your shoulder. All of a sudden, he just materializes, right? Like he's being projected into your life. And the devil is sitting behind his computer saying, tell Pisces, they're not going to be able to pull it off. They're not going to be able to do anything. They're worthless. Just go back and just live out the rest of their mundane existence and not worry about going and fulfilling their life's purpose. So that's what I'm getting here. So hopefully all of these funny little visions and metaphorical examples that I'm giving you here can help you to get a grasp on the bigger picture regarding what I am feeling here for you, Pisces. What do we have at the heart, please, Spirit? Wow. Temperance, red in its shadow. So there it is. Literally followed what we just said. Okay. Now the temperance from this deck is an energy that speaks about chaos, disruptive energies. Okay. So this is that little devil on your shoulder. Okay. Like blowing the horn into your ear, trying to distract you. Okay. Ego and hate. So trying to trigger things inside of you. I'm also hearing something here. Oh, this is quite interesting. There's something that is trying to trigger inside of you, Pisces, where it makes you feel that no matter what you do, you'll never be satisfied, that nothing is good enough. It wants you to be in an energy of ego and hate. It's like the devil energy here, or let's just say your shadow or whatever. The shadow is just a component of the devil. Wants you to believe a certain narrative, a certain idea that you are this one thing, and wants you to reject, which I feel aligns with the hate. So it's like saying nothing is good enough. You hate all things. Nothing can ever satisfy you. So you don't go after the greater vision that we are picking up here. This energy wants you to lack any sort of long-term vision that you have for yourself. Just wants you to be in an energy of constant chaos. I'm also hearing for some of you excess, just an excess of everything that you don't need. And then on this side of the card, we have the Eight of Wands. So Sag energy again. Sag, Sag, Sag. So we have the Eight of Wands stacked twice. Okay, there's a ton of movement here, Pisces. And what I'm starting to get here now, after we have channeled through all of those messages about the psychological restriction, is that your focus and attention on this matter, merely by processing and concluding that, yes, that is there. No, it's not something that affects me anymore. When it comes to surface, I deal with it as I need to, is what gets all of this moving. And this can really just reinforce what I said about embracing, not hiding from it. Just deal with it. Just face it. See, Pisces, for you, this new timeline, it's all about facing fear, right? Like I said, running through the battlefield, going through it to get to the other side, knowing that the only thing to fear is fear itself. Once you start going through the fear, you actually find that there's nothing there. It's almost like this mist that you run through. And this is exactly what this Eight of Wands is speaking about. Grandeur. This is energy that's just awe-inspiring. And it actually looks as though you're floating through the fear. You have your wings, and you're just playing a little song on the violin. Focused on the path ahead and the song that you play. And nothing can derail you. And this is you, fully formed, right? See right there? You're still forming. Now you are fully formed. What do we have at the throat, please? Wow. The Magician again. Magician, magician, magician. So we have the Magician in its negative and positive polarity right here, okay? Now, whenever a card comes out at this position, once we go past the halfway point on the second row, if this card is the exact same card that we pulled at the beginning, this is telling us that this reading is not only incredibly aligned, but we have just gone full circle, okay? You show up in the magician energy at the beginning of the reading, followed by a message of what you are being guided to overcome, to bring this magician energy that is preparing to come into your life. See how we're looking at you like we're a fly on a wall? It's the vision, right? You're not actually the magician yet. You go through all of this, right? And boom, there you are. You've turned around. You are the magician now. Spiritual wisdom and magic helps one gain wisdom and discover hidden secrets. So now we're seeing that you are actually turning the vision into reality. This magician here at the beginning of the reading is saying, hey, you can actually do this. But first, we have some things we need to overcome here. So Spirit is showing you very clearly what you're capable of. And I just heard this is a promise. This is a promise from the divine. And even though I said earlier on in the reading, we shouldn't have to require that we extract something from our own spiritual evolution to actually go down that path, right? But I feel the promise is more in the form of you being protected. It's like the divine saying to you, hey, Pisces, you have free will, okay? You don't have to do any of this. But if you do, just know we got your back, okay? We're going to see this through with you. You can do it. You can turn this vision into your reality. 8 of Pentacles. This is you now progressing inside of that space. You're turning the vision into something material. As above, so below. And it's interesting that as above is below the so below, because I stated that even though it's taking place as above, it starts so below with you always. You're the one who pulls the strings here. You are a reflection of the divine, and the divine is a reflection of you. What do we have at the third eye, please? Two of Wands, Aries energy at the third eye. Jalil, the helping God, love and wisdom, victory over those who would attack you. Now, I feel that this is just speaking metaphorically regarding this energy here. It's like you've gained victory over this. You've overcome this energy here. You've taken control of it. You've compartmentalized it. You have removed it from the driver's seat of your life. Simplest way I can put this. Shadow in the back, higher self up front. And the Two of Wands is also telling us again that you're making some sort of progress here, okay? It's like everything is coming to pass now. And I just heard, for those of you that are in energy right now where you're feeling stuck, take the focus off of your physical environment and look for the secret passage doorway inside of you. Now, I get this message quite often in the readings, and what this really speaks about is doing some of this psychological sparring with the shadow, right? And I'm hearing that by doing this, it allows you to gain a sense of confidence, which makes perfect sense. You start to feel stronger. You start to feel that the restrictions of your mind, the fear is spilling away, which allows you to push forward. And that's what begins to open up the doors in your physical environment. Now, simply put, you doing shadow work, so to speak here, arms you with the tools you need, psychologically speaking, to show up with a certain level of confidence to push forward in your everyday waking life, period. All right, what do we have at the crown to close this out for Pisces, please? 10 of Pentacles. And we got this 10 of Pentacles for Gemini in the exact same position. And, you know, as I'm looking at this reading, there are quite a lot of similarities here. So you may find some additional messages in that reading if you feel so guided to. But whatever the case, we're seeing a 10 of Swords with the 10 of Pentacles stacked at that crown position. Okay, so the 10 of Swords, again, is representing that ending and that new beginning. Remember how I said it was almost like the port of entry, right? It's like old you is going out, or maybe These are the shadow aspects of you. It's having to take a back seat, right? And at the port of entry, your ships are coming in, okay? Now, if there was going to be one card in the entire tarot that I personally think would represent your ships coming in, it would be the Ten of Pentacles. Because the Ten of Pentacles represents your spiritual inheritance, and it's all the result of you doing inner and outer work. Ten of Pentacles, Virgo energy right here is the result of this Eight of Pentacles and this Magician, and you pushing through all of this energy here. So Pisces, this is a very detailed blueprint, something that I feel, if applied correctly with patience, time, and understanding, and of course faith, can prove itself to be incredibly effective to get you through this part of the journey that you may be in right now. The Ten of Pentacles is the wealthiest card in the tarot. This is your legacy. This is what you manifest into your everyday waking life inside of your reality. It's all about money. It's all about wealth. It's all about establishing yourself, and very firmly, might I add, inside of this particular life cycle. And it's all a result of you having followed your higher guidance to do all of this correctly. And at the same time, implementing all of the lessons, all of the wisdom that you have learned along the way. Truly turning yourself into the epitome of somebody who is able to take the greatest struggles in their life and turn it into something absolutely beautiful to share with the rest of the world, with the collective, whatever that means for you. There's an audience around you here. So that can just really speak about what it is you are in the throes of trying to manifest into your life. I see it coming to pass here, but there are some things that Spirit needs to make you aware of, and I feel that it's all right here for you. All right, Pisces, this is what I have for you. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. If you would like to support my channel, there are a few ways you can go about doing this. Of course, donations are always greatly appreciated, and I would like to extend my gratitude for all of you who continue to show your generosity to the channel. You can also check out my online store, which consists of items that I have designed myself. I'm very proud of it. There's also a lot of new things there. There's a lot of new things coming over the next few days. So go have a browse if you feel inclined to. Information for personal readings can also be found down below. You can also sign up for my channel memberships. It's only $2.99 a month. I upload additional videos there that are not available on the public side of my platform. And lastly, if this reading resonated with you, please drop me a heart and or a comment down below, and I'll talk to you again soon. Take care.